Hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. In today's video, I wanted to do a company update for JXR Performance. If you guys are not aware, I own the company JXR Performance. That's why all my parts on my car are pretty much JXR Performance, and that's why I always talk about JXR Performance, and why half of my insights are coming from the aftermarket industry, and that's where I've got skin in the game, like when it comes to making videos about what's happening with these cars. But I wanted to give you guys a company update because the last time I talked about JXR Performance, the company was a lot smaller than it is today. It's still not a big company, and it's still basically just me doing everything. So if you order a part from me, it's me. But I want to talk about kind of trajectory and kind of everything you need to know and address some common questions. And at the very end of the video, just to entice you guys for staying, I will give you guys a special coupon code or a special way to get a discounted part. So we will have a deal here. So I guess at this point, you guys know you can skip to the end of the video, but we'll talk about it at the end. So please don't click off. And if you want to learn about the inner workings of how an automotive company works and things that they're working on and all that kind of stuff, it might be an interesting video for you guys. But yeah, well, let's dive in. So in terms of kind of sales and how many cars are running my parts, we're at the point where to the best of my knowledge, I think that I have a JXR Performance part on about 10,000 WRXs in the United States. I think just about 1,000 in Canada and about 900 in Australia, and probably another like 1,500 across Europe, which is pretty exciting to think that many parts are on cars. And I think the reason I say that is a lot of folks, in terms of common questions, a lot of folks are like, oh, you're just a tiny company, maybe you're drop shipping. No, that's true. My house is basically filled with all your parts. I do use sometimes I use contract manufacturers to make parts of parts or assemblies or part of the assembly, and then I finish it at home, or I have a shop that I rent out for doing certain stuff. And basically I'm touching every single part that I ship out. It's, I'm not drop shipping, this isn't some AliExpress business. And I think, kind of diving in one step further, the most common question that I get or comment that I get is, oh, I can get these on AliExpress, or I can buy a competitor or whatever, or these are Alibaba parts. And just the straight up answer is they're not. I'm a mechanical engineer, I'm a design engineer. Every part that I sell has a little bit of flair or something that I've tried to fix or tried to adjust to make it better for your car. Whether it lasts longer, it fits better, it's easier to install, or sometimes even harder to install, but will stay installed for longer. There's kind of problems with all the kind of parts that are out there. And honestly, the quality of parts that you get from Alibaba or AliExpress, or the quality of parts that companies that just kind of buy from there and just resell and never check or never add or never do anything, it's not great. I tend to then replace those emblems for those people because they want the human touch. And a lot of people want a US-based company, Boston local company, that is looking at every single part before it goes out the door. And sometimes it's clear coating. If you guys have bought any of my spoilers, you'll know that sometimes you have to wait a few days because I'm putting on extra sets of clear coat based on where you are in the US. Or sometimes I'll email you and ask you, if you're in Arizona, do you park your car in the sun? And we might adjust the type of clear coat that goes on it or something like that. I think that personal touch is so important, not only to customer service, but also to making sure you got a part that you never have to replace, is the true honesty. And yeah, it'd be awesome to run a business where I'm just having you buy parts off me all the time, but it's not the kind of company that I want to run. The other big thing that hasn't changed is my profit margins haven't gone up, they've just gone down. I refuse to make a ton of money off doing this. All I do is make sure that it brings in just enough money that I can keep kind of pursuing the hobby of furthering my design process and having the tools to bring cooler parts to you guys. Otherwise, I take nothing home from this. I mean, I will be fully transparent. In the last 3 calendar years, I've made sure that I reported $0 of profit on my tax return. Actually, I think last year, technically, it was like $33 because I thought a piece of equipment was more expensive than it was. And the short answer. But I, to date, have not really profited from this at all. Yes, some of it goes into my own car to test things, but yeah, it is a write-off, but we won't get into it. The short answer is I'm not taking money off the table here. It's all getting reinvested back into the business. So I just want to be abundantly clear for you guys that if you choose to support the company that I run, that it's not just going to my pocket, it's going back to you guys. Now, it'd be great to make a lot of money on it, but part of the reason I started this YouTube channel is to help the average person, right? And I think that's, although we're amazing people that own these cars, we don't have a ton of money, right? For most people, at least. And inexpensive access to parts is really important. And there are companies out there that are making parts for $15 and selling them for $70, and I just think that that's wrong. So you get what you see. In terms of, what's available, I've kind of been trying to increase what's available for these cars for both the V8 and VB generation by kind of 10 or 20 parts a year. And sometimes it's just different color variations or it's custom parts that then I can then make commercially available. But right now, and the biggest point of making this video is I'm kind of on the cusp of I need to do something big. I've made all the parts that I've wanted to make. I've improved all the little cosmetic stuff, and I either want to take a stab into bigger exterior parts, like doing fender flares or stuff like that. And I refuse to outsource painting, as many of you guys know that have bought custom paint colored things of my, from, you know, duckbills or whatever it is. I refuse to do it out of my house, or like I refuse to sub that out to somebody because its quality is what's most important, and vice versa. I refuse to have it painted, you know, overseas. And I don't even know how that I would do that because I do a lot of the manufacturing process here. Again, yes, I do use some contract manufacturing overseas. I get all my raw materials like everybody else in the world overseas. Every American made product that you buy that says made in America, you still buy the materials overseas, and typically most of the assemblies are made overseas, and you just have to do the final assembly in the US to call it made in America. So don't be deceived. That's just, you know, that's basic manufacturing and marketing. But yeah, so the next step for me is making a significant investment in the business. And I guess I wanted to make this video to answer some commonly asked questions, but also to ask from you guys, like I've been developing a valved exhaust for a long time, and I'm still working on that. It's in the testing phase, but I can't make more than like 30 or 40 of those a year right now. Like that's like absolute max of what I can do without buying some really expensive gear. So I guess what I'm asking is, what do you guys want to see? Like, what are you unhappy with in terms of parts on the market? And that's where I probably should have led this video. What parts do you want an engineer to go in and try to either make cheaper? And by cheaper, I don't mean the quality drops. I mean just physically not cost as much, because that's half of what I've been doing, is just trying to figure out how to make things cheaper. Or vice versa, what parts are you unhappy with that you want somebody to look at and reinvent and kind of, you know, fix essentially. I truly think for me, like if I were complaining, it would be exhaust products. I think that they're wildly too expensive, and I don't think like a valved exhaust could be $2,000, and I think that you could sell them for $1,500 or whatever it is. Like I think that you can save some money on a lot of these things. And I also think things like fender flares and a lot of the exterior stuff is just crap on the market. And I think that it's great for a year, and I just don't think it lasts because their fender flares, the paint faded, the paint cracked, or the material cracked, or it didn't last the standard of time, or it had sun damage, or whatever it is. I'm trying to fix all that, but it takes time, and it takes a lot of investment of money that I don't have in the company right now to do it. So I'm willing to take a risk for you guys, but a little bit of input would be great, so I can help. So it can help me understand where do you guys want that money to be best spent. Otherwise, the core concept of the business has not changed. You guys email me when you want custom stuff done, I do it. You guys email me when you have questions, I do it. I keep helping you guys buy your cars, do all the other stuff that isn't related to the business. Feel free to email me through the business if you have questions about these cars, if you're working on trying to fix something, right? My email is open. Like if you're trying to do a DIY project, even if it's not buying a part, you know, the email on the company is the best way to get me, and I will respond pretty quickly usually and help you out however you do it. I love doing it. That's why the company exists. And yeah, so that's basically where it stands. Again, it's still like I touch everything. There's no intent to not have that happen. Like again, quality is what's most important to me, and you know, making sure that I look at every single thing before it goes out the door and make sure it's perfect is really, really important to me. And good customer service and all those things, and making sure that you guys don't overpay for stuff. With that said, guys, you guys are here for a discount or a freebie or a giveaway, and I did promise that at the beginning of the video. So here's what's going to happen. My email for the company is sales@jxrperformance.com. It's on the website, but it's also just sales@jxrperformance.com. Not going to put it on the website because I don't want it to get scraped onto the internet so everybody can do this. But if you made it this far through the video, if you email me and say that you made it this far through the video, I will give you a custom fat discount on a part that you want, basically at my cost. Now, a lot of you guys are probably going to do this, so I'm going to cap it at like the first, we'll say 10. But if those 10 people do it in the first like hour of me posting this, we'll say 15. So the first 15 people that do this, I'll give you a really fat discount. And then we'll say for the next 150, because, you know, who knows, maybe not that many people are going to do this, I'll give you a pretty big discount if you email me, and then we'll figure out what parts. And it doesn't necessarily have to be one part. We'll kind of figure it out as we go. So again, that's why I made the business, to be able to do stuff like this. So sales@JXR Performance, email me, let me know what you want. And even if it's not a JXR Performance brand, let's say you want an exhaust, because I retail every part. I just don't list them on the website, so I retail every part. I probably should have also said that. I could sell any part for these cars, pretty much every part. If you needed something else for your car and you want a discount, email me, and we'll make it happen. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. If you have any questions about JXR Performance or just want to give me your input about what I should make next, let me know in the comment section below. And otherwise, I really appreciate the support, guys, and I appreciate you guys putting my parts on your cars, and it's a lot of fun. And I'm at the point right now where I'm taking massive carloads of packages to, you know, the post office and UPS multiple times a week, and I've been doing that now for 2 years, and it's a lot of fun. You know, it's I know the person, I know, you know, I'm pretty good friends now with the lady that works at the post office, which is not something I could have ever thought I would say in my life. So thank you guys, and I'll see you guys in the next video.